Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian at Performance Place, part of the locally world famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. We're going to cover our sciatica series today with questions and answers, commonly asked questions that you guys have asked us, and then also common questions we've gathered from forums online and just on random Google searches. You know how you go into Google and you start writing up sciatica and all of a sudden it populates stuff? Those are common questions that people ask, and that's why we're answering them now. So the questions we're going to cover today are, is sitting bad for sciatica? Is walking good for sciatica nerve pain? Is laying down bad for sciatica? Well, these are all very good questions. At any point in time, you can go through the timestamps on the video, this one. I'm putting timestamps in there so we can actually get you guys to go back and listen to the answers if you need to hear it again, all right? Sometimes these things like recovering from sciatica and back pain can be confusing. I get it, I hear you. The more information you get, the more helpful it is for you to make an informed decision about what to do. For those of you out there who are trying to manage this on your own, I suggest that you don't. And the reason is, this is my own personal testament with it, is that when I was dealing with sciatica and low back pain, I tried to manage it on my own, and I feel like I know what I'm doing for about a month, and then finally I said, screw it, I'm going to have a friend work with me, and all of a sudden I was about 75% better within a week. Not perfect, and not everybody's going to have those types of experiences, but just it was dramatically different, just trusting someone and having them tell you what to do, and you just do it, and that's the end of it. So the first question again, is sitting bad for sciatica pain? This is a really good question here. The answer is maybe. I'm going to move the chair into a better position so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and I'll even pan the camera down just for a couple minutes. Sorry, no camera guy. We don't pay a big production company to come through and do this. We just do this between clients that we have. So, as in other videos that we have on YouTube, I probably mentioned and we've probably had this in our articles as well on our website, is sciatica comes from different causes, different reasons, and the way you respond to certain suggestions is based upon the mechanics that are creating your sciatica. If you have mechanical-based sciatica nerve pain, then normally we can find a position that aggravates it and a position that makes it feel better. Now, the position that I'm in, a lot of you might think, well, that's horrible posture. That's horrible posture. But surprisingly, some people who have sciatica pain into the leg and into the foot actually feel better when doing this. It's crazy, right? So it's not extremely common with the population we see. We tend to see people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. But beyond that age, a little bit more into like, let's say 70s or 80s, there's something that can come about more commonly called foraminal stenosis, or stenotic change or foraminal encroachment. A lot of your MRIs and X-rays might say things like this, which would indicate if it's really severe, then there's a possibility that the hole that the nerves are coming out of, and I'll show you in the model in a moment here, the nerves, they're just smaller is all. It's a tunnel that has encased itself up a little bit. And so all I'm doing by being in this position is allowing the tunnel to stay open. And this can automatically reduce the nerve pain that I have into my leg and just feel good generally. Now, for the people in this situation, a lot of times it hurts to bend backwards more. They'll feel the legs shoot down. But some of these people actually, into their younger years, they will have the same experience. And these people surprisingly will be the ones that they're just neurotic about posture. I always have a good posture. I make sure that I always sit up straight, and that's the end of the story. Well, sometimes good posture is actually bad for you. In this scenario would be one of them. And so normally what we have people do is we say, get good posture and subtract 10%. Just kind of relax. And for a lot of people, they say, my groin pain went away, my leg pain went away, my hamstring feels looser, my calf feels better, and so on. Now, for other people that have more pain with actually doing something like this, or reaching down and touching the floor, something like sitting in bad posture is actually something they shouldn't be doing, okay? But back to the original question is sitting bad for sciatica? Well, in this situation, this is actually an activity we send people home to do if this makes them feel better. For people this makes their leg feel worse, we normally don't send them home with any sitting suggestions, and we try to minimize sitting time overall. But if they do have to sit, Then we ask that they do a perching method. And so you get your sit bones, the bones that you're perched on the edge of the chair, just to do the work. And then you kind of rock your body weight into your feet a little bit. And this automatically supplies something like a lumbar support. Your posture naturally gets better as you dial your pelvis forward and find the edges of the sit bone. You don't have to think about sitting up straight or anything like that. You just kind of roll the pelvis forward. Normally addressing better posture for sciatica is going to be best addressed long-term by dialing the pelvis forward versus trying to lift the ribs. If you lift the ribs, you will probably have some type of groin or upper back pain that happens as a compensation for that, so I don't suggest it. Another thing you can do is actually just kind of use the chair and allow the chair to do what the chair is designed for, which is creating a lumbar support. Right now, if you look at the arch of the chair, and I'm just leaning back and letting the chair do its thing, it actually is working out pretty well. I feel very supported in this. Also too, my legs, you'll notice my legs are actually, I can bend my knees about the chair. Some of us are shorter, some chairs are bigger. If this chair was actually longer on the end, like I remember some movie theater chairs I was in, my legs were kind of cocked out like this and it kind of pulled me out of the back support, which didn't help the situation at all, unless I was the first category, right? It's funny how these things work. I prefer people actually get a crummy chair like this. There's a reason why we have this in our facility, and it's to help out with actually just allowing the body to do some work as you sit. If it's completely passive, it's going to be hard to help anybody with this. And I don't like blaming posture or sitting for things in life, but realistically speaking, if sitting is creating your problem and you know it already, we need to minimize some sitting time. All right, that's kind of the easiest win in the book. And what's the opposite of sitting? Probably walking or running. And we did a whole nother video where we talked about the value of walking, how to walk, and so on in association with sciatica already. I should mention too, we talked about the holes. We have the little yellows here. They're coming through a hole. As you bend backwards, the hole gets smaller. As you bend back forward, the hole gets bigger. But also as you bend forward, if you have a disc irritation, this might increase your amount of problem into the sciatic nerve or the contributing nerve roots if you allow too much around, especially under load over time. The next question we have is walking good for sciatica pain? Well, I just alluded to that, so that works out perfectly fine. Walking, yes, can be very helpful for sciatica pain. I prefer that people walk to their tolerance and walk with a hefty pace if they can. Now, walking with a hefty pace might be a little bit more of, I'm late for an airplane, but I don't want to be caught like I'm suspiciously running through an airport. You know, you can always kind of tell that person they're running. You're like, huh, what's going on with them? Don't stand out too much. Just walk a little quicker than everybody else, all right? Also, swinging your arms a little bit will be helpful. Swinging from the shoulder, not from the elbow. This helps out turn on the core. This is from a McGill's work. Creates abdominal stiffness while we get the hips involved and the shoulders involved. Walking generally, we have a saying in here is whenever you can walk, start walking. Not everybody can walk, and everybody has different starting points that they have. If you came in a wheelchair and you haven't walked in 3 weeks, maybe your walking tolerance is different than mine. Also, if you've been suffering from maybe some upper respiratory infection or something odd where that takes your cardiovascular fitness away, you might not have the actual cardiovascular fitness currently to be able to walk as long as that we're talking about. So you walk for as long as you can tolerate, and then you just take a break. A lot of times people will be able to walk for at least about 5 to 10 minutes without any problem. In that case, go ahead and do a bunch of 5 to 10 minute walks, and then you'll notice that the next day or the following day, things actually dramatically improve. Walking is one of those things where it is an activity of daily living. It's something you're going to do, you have to do, and one of the quickest ways to get into a retirement home or need some assistance in life is to not being able to get up and move about your own house to do normal daily stuff. Also, sitting or squatting. Some of you might have been told before that you should never squat again. I personally disagree. Obviously, you get your own medical information and direction on that, but if you can't sit down to a toilet and get back up on your own power, then you're probably going to end up in a retirement home quicker as well. The independence is what most people are looking for as they get older too. And if you're not of age where you're worried about retirement homes, you're still going to be squatting up and down, getting up and down on the toilet. People do it multiple times a day. The body is designed for it. By the way, as a side note, the knee should cross the toe in some forms. Attempt to try to walk up and down the stairs without putting your knees over your toes. It's literally impossible. It's a normal human movement. Now, let's get on to the third question, which is, is laying down bad for sciatica? Well, yes and no. There are certain parameters I think that we should consider if we're talking about is it actually good or bad. The first thing is let's just talk about bed rest overall. If you can't move about at all and everything hurts to move, sure, a day or two of just kind of taking it easy is not bad. I encourage you to get up and move about as much as you can. Almost act like there's no one in the house to really help you too much. Don't ring that bell. Attempt to go to the restroom on your own. Attempt to put on your shoes and your socks and turn the fan on or whatever it is that you need to get comfortable throughout the day. If you get bored, try to get your own cell phone. There is a lot of value to being able to attempt to do some movements. Obviously, if everything's too painful, we progress things back and we find something that makes it feel a little bit better. But overall, usually about 2 to 3 days of taking it easy is not a bad thing. Prolonged laying down or bed rest is a problem. And the reason is because your body it's pretty smart with things. It adapts to the challenges that you give it. If you're not giving it any challenges, you start to drop below the level that you're at, and your body says, cool, I'm going to recycle all these proteins and all these things that were used for bones and muscles and tendons and start to put them elsewhere, and because you're not using them. And so this is how things like osteoarthritis, the lack of muscle strength, and just feeling overall crummy after you're recovering from sciatica happens. If your body recycles all these proteins and you just have to build them up later. I think as the general saying goes, for every day of laying around that you have, it takes 4 days to recover what you've lost. And this is kind of the argument back and forth of how long should we boot somebody with, like, say, a fracture. Traditional treatment would say, yeah, you boot them if you need to, but other people would say, I'm not quite sure, because then you deload the foot and the bones of the foot, and it takes a long time to recover all the musculature that you have lost down there and the functionality. So when it comes to sciatica with laying down, yes, a little bit is okay, but too much is going to create a problem. Now, if you guys want to learn a little bit more information about sciatica that's more comprehensive, we do have a free gift for you guys. It's in a link description below, as well as any ways to contact us if you want us to work with you virtually or in person. We've seen a lot of people over the years with low back pain and sciatica. Dare I say we're experts in it? Dare I say, because everyone's a self-proclaimed expert. But at the same time, I mean, if we were going to gamble on if we can help someone through sciatica, leg pain, tightness in the hamstring, and numbness of the foot that's intermittent, yeah, I would love those cases all day, and I'm sure the other medical team here would as well. So reach out to us. Take advantage of the free offer that we have. It's designed to give you more information than you've got anywhere else. And subscribe to the channel. Like this, share it. Look at the remainder of the playlist. We have all these questions answered. I know it's kind of long-winded, and some of you are going to comment the blah, blah, blah gets to the point. But it's information that a lot of you do need. And so for all of you out there who are loving this information, please go through and watch the remainder of the playlist. I'm hoping that I'll give you more information than you got elsewhere. I'll see you guys next time.